Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Standing in the Gap with Dr. Tonjua Williams, president of St. Petersburg College. I have always talked about the gap. What is the gap? The gap can be economic mobility between those who have money to pay their bills and those who don't. It could be a workforce gap between education and higher ed. It could be a learning gap and what the needs are to make sure people are successful. Well, this segment that's coming up is all about workforce and legislation. It's about the policymakers, the movers and shakers who shape the lives in our community. If you really want to know the lowdown on how to close that gap, you're going to want to join us and listen to these segments. Enjoy. So Standing in the Gap is about giving back. It's about showing up for people who have no one else to show up for them. I am Dr. Tonjua Williams, president of St. Petersburg College, and you are listening to Standing in the Gap.
Brian Bell, faculty for biomedical engineering technology. When I first got into biomedical engineering technology, I didn't really exactly understand what it was. It's kind of a newer field, actually. So I was in the mechanical engineering sphere of things, so I learned about electronics, thermodynamics, physics, all that stuff. It's kind of a jack of all trades engineering. But as I got into more applied engineering, I looked at medical devices, looked at a couple other things, started doing research in a couple applied medical devices. And as that continued, there was an opportunity available that had to do with manufacturing medical equipment, manufacturing medical devices. And through a series of events led me to a position here at St. Petersburg College, where they started a program that focused on manufacturing medical equipment, quality of medical equipment, and that's kind of how I got into it. And I've been there for about 10 years now. Yeah, I mean, there were people that obviously, tons of people that helped me along the way. Obviously, my parents, my family, huge support. My church family that helped support me and guided me. And then I had really a lot of good academic and counselors and advisors. In particular, my PhD advisor, she was really powerful in the sense that she allowed me a lot of freedom to know how to start things and build things. And, she did a really good job of teaching me and training me how to function academically, but also to work with and network with industry. Biomedical engineering technology is simply how do we take care of medical equipment, right? So somebody has to be there to take care of medical equipment, which is taking care of people. And at the center of all this is patient care, right? Patients matter, whether it's your grandmother or your father or your mother, they're hooked up to that medical equipment. And someone is responsible to make sure that medical equipment functions the way it should when it's being used. And so biomedical equipment technicians, their goal is to be that person who actually is serving the community at large to make sure that medical equipment is functioning and working and efficient and effective for the healthcare system. Without them, things wouldn't function. Doctors, nurses, all are depending on that diagnostic equipment. And without that, we're drastically reducing their ability to serve people. And that's why this is a critical career field. And it's something that continues to grow because technology isn't going down. There's more and more connected medical equipment. Every day, there's more and more medical devices coming out. And there has to be people trained on how to take care of that. And so that's where our medical equipment technicians or biomedical equipment technicians come into play. Yeah, I don't have, different data comes out occasionally. I don't have anything off the top of my head. I can just say everyone's in agreement that this is a career field that's growing. Okay, no one doubts it. Constantly, I have employers contacting me, say, hey, can you send me interns? Can you send me people? And the unfortunate response I have to give is, no, they're already hired here, or they're already being placed, or sorry, I just don't have enough people. So there's really not enough that we're producing right now to meet what the industry needs. And everyone in industry right now they're aware of this problem. There's no business in our industry that is not aware that we need more biomedical equipment technicians. That's known. Now the question is, how do we keep training them, and how do we do that? Well, that's where St. Petersburg College, really can thrive and help, I think, fill a need in this community and really nationally. Okay, the reason this is a great opportunity is because you have tons of onboarding opportunities to start the career field. There's lots of opportunities to continue to grow in your career field. All right, so you might start as what we call a biomedical equipment technician level 1. All right, so from there, you start on basic equipment, you start learning your way around a hospital or a healthcare system, or maybe you start in a manufacturing facility working on repairing equipment there. But from there, you start to be a level 2. You start to work in more advanced equipment, more life support type equipment. And you can go to level 3. You can start looking at optics and imaging, go to MRI machines, CT scanners, all these different machines that are higher, and obviously the higher the equipment you go on, right? If you're working on an MRI machine that might cost $2 million, well, your pay continues to increase as you start to work there. So, I have students who after a year, this is crazy for me, but after a year of working there, they're making 6-figure salaries with this type of degree. It blows my mind that that's possible, but they are. They're traveling all over the world as they continue, because a lot of these companies, they have to service equipment throughout the entire world. So they'll travel, they'll do all sorts of ways that it's like, okay, hey, I got this person who's specialized in this medical device, and now they're going to go to Florida, they're going to go to California, they're going to go to wherever they need to go to make sure that happens. It's taken care of. So as far as the training goes, we have a variety of options. We have a certificate option, which can last about a year of training. That'll prepare you to get started in the medical equipment repair field. We have an AS degree, which is going to prepare you, more readily prepare you for getting into that career field. And it's going to give you a little bit more skills to make a little stand out a little bit more with employers. We have a couple more advanced certificates in things like networking and cybersecurity for medical equipment. And we also have a medical device and design and prototyping certificate where you can learn about the manufacturing side, CAD modeling, and what are the quality things that have to be done to make sure a medical device goes from prototype to actual on-the-market device. The reality is most people do not know about this career field. They think, they know doctors, they know nurses because they see those and they interact with those. But if you go to the hospital, you don't think about the person who actually takes care of the medical device that you're plugged into, that you're hooked up to. So that's where there's a disconnect between what our students may be aware of and these opportunities out there. And this is a really lucrative, advancing career field. And it's sad that, a lot of times it's just, there's not an opportunity to do this. But at SPC, we actually have a program where, throughout the country, there's people who don't have that opportunity. We don't have, access to $1 million worth of equipment in a lab, which we have here at St. Petersburg College. We have so many resources that students can take advantage of. And, a lot of people just don't realize that we have that type of technology here. Yeah, so to employers who are interested in what we have to offer, with our biomedical equipment technicians, I would say, first of all, come check us out. Come learn about us because we have so much to offer you. I think you will be amazed at what we have at St. Petersburg College. We have one of the best labs in the country, I'm sure of it. You will be amazed at the type of test equipment and the types of devices that we show to our students, that they get hands-on experience right here. And once you find out about that, let us know what you want. We want to engage with you. We want to learn from you. Come to our classrooms, talk to us, engage our students. They want to hear about your organization. They want to hear about how they can, find a career and find, they want to build their lives in a way that they can be successful and that they can have an opportunity. And I think they would love to hear how your organization can be a part of that. I do what I do because I absolutely love hearing students succeed. When I get a student who starts out as a student and then 7 years, this happened 1 week ago, 7 years ago, they said, hey, Brian, guess what? I just become the regional director for this giant healthcare company of this particular, it's incredible to see how people's lives have changed, where they come back and they just say, thank you so much. You've put me in a career path that I really enjoy. I'm being successful, providing for my family. What's better than that, than seeing students go from, I don't know what I'm going to do, to now I have a career, I'm being successful and I'm thriving because I'm really good at this. And SPC was a stepping stone into that direction. SPC has created better jobs and better lives. My name is Brian Bell, and I stand in the gap by helping students and preparing students with the tools that they need to succeed in a career in biomedical engineering technology.
My name is Christopher Kane. I'm the program coordinator for advanced manufacturing and engineering technology for workforce development and education. Well, manufacturing has changed in many ways, from the times of just working in a factory, producing steel, things of that nature. Manufacturing has come into the computer age, where now we deal with controls and instrumentations, we deal with programmable logic controllers, we deal with different facets of technology that are interfacing with production. And in that, we have assemblers, we have technicians, and things that lend themselves to the future, and not just building just these blocks of things, but now we interface into the Internet of Things. Manufacturing today has become synergized with technology, from your robots, your drones, your hair dryers, everything from your electric vehicles. That's what manufacturing looks like today, from your solar panels. Technology and manufacturing and how we produce those things have become synergized as we moved into the future. St. Petersburg College's goal with partnerships and employers is to fill in a gap to produce people who are skilled to take advantage of high wages and great jobs with the skills that make them marketable and be success in a manufacturing community. Right now, there are over 1,300 manufacturers in the Tampa Bay area. That is increasing by almost 36% year over year. And in that year over year rise, we need more technicians, more assemblers. And as those projects increase and as more companies move to Florida, they will need to fulfill that workforce. And that is where we come in and bridge the gap. Well, the great things that have come from it is that we've learned as a college what we need to offer. We've learned how to become more agile in offering the services and education, workforce education, that our partners, our industry partners need. And they will need as they become more agile in the space. And as they become bigger, we can grow with them and by providing those services. And we not only have the services and the education, but we also have the students. And those students will eventually go on to work for these companies. And it's a nice symbiotic relationship. So we've learned hand in hand. Some of our success stories include people from our line worker program, our mechatronics program, just to name a few. In our line worker program, we have almost an 85% retention rate, an 80% job placement rate. And we always have more students who are wanting to join our robust program. In our mechatronics sector, we've had over 230 completers who have gotten industry certifications and national certifications and credentials. And we've also worked to get them job placement as well. Those were the completers in our mechatronics sector, meaning like those are students who are gonna go on and work at your Honeywells, Jables, Lockheeds, and things of that nature. Well, we work with an array of companies. We work with aerospace, defense, mom and pop companies who started in defense and aerospace. We work with Buguri Aerospace, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Jabil, just to name a few. We've gotten donations from Verizon, from Duke, from Lockheed. And the way our industry partners stand with us in the gap is that they provide materials, scholarships, and funding to help students, to help us fund the program, to help us keep the program going, and to produce those individuals that they desperately need. So today we're in the Chris Sprouse Workforce Innovation Hub. This is a beautiful space, and we have a soldering maker space here. We have a full kitchen here for as a tester's kitchen. We have a CNC machine here for our prototyping and 3D printing. So this space is the innovative space where it will be the keystone for future innovation, education, and workforce development. My name is Christopher Kane, and I'm happy to stand in the gap in between those who want economic mobility and those employers who need them. I'm happy to stand in the gap to provide them services and make that connection and elicit those wraparound services to create a forever student that not only will serve our industry partners, but our community as a whole.
My name is Greg Lewis. I am a faculty member of engineering technology. I teach CAD, computer-aided drafting, and rapid prototyping. I've had a good year, to be honest with you. I've won the Titan Award, and I also have won the post-secondary Educator of the Year in Florida state colleges. So the Titan is very important to me. It just lets me know that I'm doing a good job, and it also lets me know that my students care about what I'm doing and they appreciate what I'm doing. The truth, I'm 17 years old. I'm sitting in a classroom, a manufacturing classroom, and the instructor looks at me and says, "Lewis, you can do this." And I said, "Do what?" And he goes, "You could teach and do what I'm doing." And I looked at him and I said, I could. And that's how I ended up here. 17 years old, sitting in a manufacturing lab. And that's how it all started. If there's anything, it's being prepared. The students that I see now, the skill set, they're not really prepared for today's world. When the skill set that they need, the fundamentals that they need to come out of high school and into the real world, the working world, there's a certain skill set that you need, and I don't see that, and that's what they need. This is what I want to give them, is that skill set to make that transition from, academia to the workforce. Be able to go out and get a job and support yourself and support your family. And that's probably the main thing that's missing in today's youth. I believe it's a piece of the puzzle, or maybe the bridge that bridges the gap, so that these students will come here and get an education and be able to make that next move to get a better job, to be able to support your family, maybe to buy a house, to get the skill set. And then from there, they can just continue on and getting the skill set they need to advance to better positions. Trend-wise, we're just trying to find people to fill the voids. There are voids that aren't being filled, and we're just trying to get people aware of the job opportunities that there are out in the community. Working for architects, being an architect, being a designer, a CAD designer, being an interior designer, being a manufacturing an operator, a programmer, working in a manufacturing facility, designing, parts, all that good stuff that we need. So when students come into my classroom, it's not a normal classroom. It's more of a team, right? We're a team. We're not individuals. And I encourage students to get involved, to communicate with each other. All right, know the person next to you, know the person behind you, know the person in front of you. These are people that you might deal with out in the real world, and you never know who you're going to deal with. So you have to take that opportunity, and you can't just sit back and be quiet. You've got to get involved. You've got to interact. You've got to know your surroundings. Sometimes we need to ask for help, and those people are around you, and you need that. I'm fortunate because I still deal with students on a weekly basis that came through my program, 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And I still see them on a regular basis because they're coming back and helping, and they're giving, and they're part of the team. And once you're part of the team, then we're going to take care of each other. And that's the goal, is that we take care of each other. I was supposed to. This is what it was meant to be. I'm fortunate because I'm doing what I was supposed to do. Doesn't get any better than this. Well, I've been at the college for 25 years, right? Going on my 26th year. The nice thing is that when I walk out into a manufacturing facility, most of the time I know somebody that they're opening the door for me as I'm walking in because they've been one of my students. So it doesn't fail that there's somebody at that company that I've dealt with, and they're there to meet me at the door, and they're willing to help and give back. Lyle Cascarelli, 18 years old, right out of high school, all right? Came in, needed some training, wanted to learn how to do CAD. So he came in, took 3 or 4 classes, got his AS degree in engineering technology, and started working, got a job, all right? I saw him last Wednesday night. He's 45 years old, right? And he's still doing what he loves. And he still gives back to the team, all right? Ryder Fitzpatrick is another student, came to me at 15. Okay, he's 25 now. has his own company, running a business. He's successful. He's finishing up his engineering degree, and he's giving back. He's hiring our students. We're able to take students to him so they can see what manufacturing actually is in the real world, in the manufacturing world, and he's willing to share. Well, I always say I'm the fortunate, I'm the luckiest guy out there, because not only do I get to spend time with the team, all right, and then to see him succeed, and then to see him, go out and buy a house, right? I had Jake DeVega, one of our students. He's also part of the team. He comes back and gives. Just bought his first house. He's getting married, all right? So I see all that, and it just makes me feel really good that SPC was available for him, and we gave him the tools necessary to succeed in life, and that's what he's doing. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It takes a team to be in the gap, all right? It's just not me, it's the team, it's everybody around me coming together and understanding that it's a bigger thing, that we're here to help, everybody that's part of the team that wants to succeed and be successful. I'm Greg Lewis, and I'm here to stand in the gap for my students to be successful, all right? To be able to afford and go out and purchase a house, have a family, have a great life, all right? To have a meaningful life that's deserving of what you have put into this and have given to St. Pete College and the team.
My name is Jackie Scrid. I'm the Vice President of Workforce Development and Corporate Partnerships, and I've been at St. Petersburg College for 13 years. It's important to have a workforce division at St. Petersburg College because economic mobility is our North Star. And if we aren't focused on that as a primary space, as we do with academic affairs and with student affairs, it's a miss. The good part of that division is that there's an emphasis on corporate partnerships, where we're developing deeper relationships to drive a lot of the services that we provide at the college, including programming. What programs are we going to offer? Do they meet the economic demands of our region? Without that concerted effort, it's not as strategic. And so putting a light on that, as the president has by investing in that full division and that corporate partnerships role, we're now able to focus on job placement in areas where we're able to better stand in the gap for students than we ever have before. So identifying the companies isn't that difficult because we do have advisory boards that have engaged corporations over many years. But what the difference is that we haven't come at it from a perspective beyond advisory boards. And so when we bring in, we can target companies that are already wanting to engage, but we can also look at companies that we haven't worked with before, many of which are some of our larger companies that make a huge economic impact in the region and have a big demand when it comes to jobs, available jobs for individuals. So if we can do a better match with them, we want them working with us. So having that team and having that division focused on that, we are able to tap into more companies than ever before. And again, deepen those relationships far better than we have before. I have several examples of some of the companies that have worked with us in a bigger capacity. Duke Energy is one of them. They came to the table to develop line workers. There was a big need, and it was, how can the college set up a new program? And so they sat at the table with us. They leveraged their existing curriculum for us to accelerate what we could offer and get people into the pipeline faster. And we collaborated as an industry sector with other companies to make that happen. So they all agreed on what that program would look like, and we set forth on a program. They invested in the equipment in order for us to deliver, as well as for an instructor. So they had skin in the game. So they were bringing curriculum, they were bringing funding and resources, and other companies were bringing the instructor so that they could actually teach a program at the level that we needed for them to come right out of it and make some good money. And so with scholarships at hand, also from those companies, including Duke, Powertown was another one, we were able to set up a program that is now driving 100 new line workers into the pipeline for our energy workforce every year. We've doubled our capacity as a result of that support, and students are making upwards of $60,000 after 14 weeks of training. If an employer works with St. Petersburg College, what they get out of that is top talent. We have exceptional talent here at St. Petersburg College, quality programs with individuals who live and want to stay in our community. And what better way than to have the opportunity to be at the table to develop that so that you know exactly what you're getting out of that program. At the same time, we work with our companies to understand what the trends are, what is the future, what are they going to need in 3 years, what are they going to need in 5 years, and how can we be in a position to meet that need earlier on. The more we can do that, the better off everyone will be, and it gives us a little of an accelerated boost for us to really look at not only the new jobs, but really what those skill sets are and having that skills-based conversation, because it's not so much that the skills change all too often as much as the roles might. We identify the gaps by working closely with our economic development partners. We are making sure that we are in lockstep alignment with what the demands are of our companies and our industries. We target certain industry sectors that have the most jobs in demand and the companies that have the most need. But we do have a lot of small businesses here in our county. We're 95% small business. And so it's not easy for those companies to operate when you need one person or you need two people. So what are we doing for them to better close that gap and make sure that their needs are addressed as much as the big companies that have the bigger demand? St. Petersburg College has been at the forefront of workforce development. We're one of the best workforce development institutions in the state, in a state that's the top in the nation, and we're proud of that. We do that because we are focused on economic mobility as the ultimate outcome. We are wanting students to complete, but we're not satisfied until they've achieved a career and a high wage, or that they're transferring into a program that will lead them there. And we've been fortunate because we have looked at this from a perspective of filling a void or a gap, if you would say, on what happens after graduation. Students don't just finish and go get a job, know exactly the company they want to work for or the title they want to apply for, but we can help in that space. And because we're developing those relationships with companies, they are understanding more, and the companies are exposing themselves as to what they can offer, as at the same time, the students are understanding more about where they could go work. And because we've invested in that space, we are seeing much higher job placements than ever before. We have worked with companies like Bank of America to invest $1 million in that entire space for job placement. That includes internships and apprenticeships. And we've placed over 1,600 students just last year because we have improved our processes, because we have put the right people in place, and because we have a full team now dedicated to our companies developing those relationships as a single point of contact. All of those parts and pieces have made a difference. And it's a new space for higher ed. It's not something we've ever done before as educators. And so to be at the forefront of that at St. Petersburg College, ahead of any legislative requests to do so, we were ahead of that game. We recognized that that was a gap. We needed to do better for our students, and we needed to do better for our employers, and we needed to connect them better. And so we get to do that. That's the work of our division. The Workforce Division at St. Petersburg College supports the entire life cycle of a student experience, from choosing a program, where are the jobs, where could they make good money, where could they do it quickly? Where could they do it where they could use the certification and get a degree? So we have teams that work on what those programs are, whether they're short-term training, and how we connect them and articulate into our degrees. We have people that help support that. We are also looking at testing. We have testing centers that help support individuals for continuing education. We work with companies to employ their current workforce. They want to come back and upskill or reskill. They can do that, and we have corporate contracts that allow us to do that. We support lifelong learners, our senior citizens and silver scholars, our youth through College for Kids, all of those things from end to end. We want to see our students succeed. We want to see them succeed in short-term programming. That's why we have non-degree programs and certifications that do focus on those in-demand jobs, whether it's in healthcare, whether it's in IT, or business or manufacturing. We've got programs that really meet the need of the top jobs in demand. And then we're working with the companies in order for us to drive all of that. So do we know what the right programs are? We'll be in tune with that from our company feedback. Do we know where the job placement opportunities are? Are we connecting them to the companies that have the job need? Our students are just incredible sources of inspiration that they are wanting to seek a better life, and they're doing that through education. And how exciting for us to be a part of that and get them all the way through to the finish line, which is a career and a better life. Students in our community get so much more than just an education to go through a specific program and get a credential or degree. It's a path to a better life. And it can be short. It can be as quick as 2 weeks. It could be 16 weeks, and they could be making $60,000 in just that amount of time and be able to buy a car. And we hear those stories. It's wonderful. And be able to get their own home. And that's not something they've been able to do before. You hear a lot of times where the president says, we don't want to train people into poverty. We want our students to be successful. We want them to go on. We want them to have one job where they are moving up the career ladder. And that's our ultimate goal. And so the more that we can do that, that's a full journey experience that's beyond just getting a credential. And I'm proud to be a part of a college that focuses on that. I'm Dr. Jackie Scrid, and I stand in the gap for those that seek a better life through a career. I come from Detroit, Michigan, where people work hard and they're a blue-collar workforce and they barely make ends meet. And I want to see a difference here in our community with the same. We've got too many people, over half our population, that are in that space. And I know that they can change their lives through higher education. They can do it quickly, and they can continue to upskill over time. And I hope they do that at St. Petersburg College.